Hey everyone, this is Shadow from Volcano Forums. Come to you again with another video, and you got it. It's Volcano's Tank-O-Mizer. But I also have another treat. So before we get too much into this, let me show you. Yep, I have cut a tank up. So let's get a little better view here. Let me go ahead and zoom in some for you. And there's some pretty interesting stuff that I found in these. First of all, as you can see, there's not much really to them. Let me come back out a little bit. There we go. Tank, spike, coil and basket, just like a normal Addy. You know, it's the nickel mesh, the wiring, and the connector, and then just simply the housing sleeve. So let's pull it apart, and let me show you some of the little things that I found out. And by the way, this one still works. Alright, now as we see the spike, we'll just pull that out. Set this to the side. Now what I found on this is, you see that wicking on there? That's all it is, just a little bit of wicking on underneath the plate for the spike. Let's see if we can hold it this way a little better. There you go. That's all it is. Not a lot to it. Okay. And it's just a, outer shell, inner shell. So let's remove all that. Little silicone sleeve that goes around everything. Pull that off. And you have the upper metal casing, that the little spike is press fitted into. So remove that. And there we have. And this still works, even though it's tore apart. Now, what I did find on this, though, is, let's see if we can get focus. There we go. I'm not quite sure exactly how everything gets, other than the fact the wick that is inside the coil has to dump down in and is probably press fitted in somewhere behind the mesh, because there's nothing underneath. It's just a little air vent that pops up around each side of this mesh. So as you're drawing air in, there is an interior sleeve. We'll just pop that off real quick for you. Trying to keep this in time. You can see the little nicks like on normal Addies. And it's going to go in through the sides and whatever. Alright. So now we can see what all is in there. It's not a very large. Yep, so I'm assuming it's still a ceramic cup, like E2s and everything. So now, let's get back to everything. Do another quick little assembly, so I can give a little better explanation for some stuff and clarify some misconceptions. First, I want to point out the wick, the tank. This one's already been punctured, so it's no real big deal. Next to the spike pokes a hole in there. I'm going to show you. They're so close fitting, there is no real difference in size. So there's been a lot, some people that are a little concerned on supposedly setting the tank in there in correlation to plate. It's very, very minor, if any, difference. Okay? So that's not a huge deal to worry about. Second is the priming that everybody's been talking about. Let me get the empty one. Is the priming. Now, as you can see, and you've got your own, obviously, this is the air vents. So as you draw, it comes up in and to and around and up here. If you're blowing, you're just blowing pressure here. That's how you clean out a normal addy. You know, you're just blowing any of the pressure from the wick on down out into the battery. That's not priming. These work on a vacuum. As you draw and the air is coming up and through, up and around and everything, trying to escape out the top of the mesh and bring up, it creates a vacuum. That's how these prime and function. Now it may be just a little placebo effect for those of you that are blowing in to try to prime. It's a draw that primes these, just for clarification. That's all there is to it. As you can see, there's not much room in here. It's just a big vacuum. These sit and feel and seal so tight up here around the neck. Okay, so just to get a little more clarification for everybody, blowing will not prime these. It is a draw, because otherwise you're just simply cleaning out and not going to be good. You're going to make a little mess underneath the skirt of everything. All right, so now then, we've motioned out everything. You can see the end. It's nothing, got a little hole. That's how you can fill these. So you just pop it in, you know, it's done that. This is a 15 or 16 mil syringe, very large, you know, acceptable for VG. But as you can see, there is plenty of room if you decide to fill in that manner. Okay. If not, popping them off, same thing. Where you can see those vents, little flat spot, that's where you can grab a hold of the little plate. Voila. And then you can just simply drip inside. And they only go on one way, obviously, with the shape. So, no mistakes. And that's it. Now, a lot of people are filling up, you know, to leaving a little air gap. Fine if you feel that's necessary. Because the moment you invert it and the wick draws, there's going to be an air pressure change anyways. That's the way these all work. So if you want to, you know, not fill them up, fine. I haven't really had a problem or a change, you know, in how they work. Obviously, it's a clear one, so you can still get a view, you know, of how much juice is in. So that's a nice, quick little tour of it, just so you can kind of see. Got the fan on. Apologize for that. So I hope that's kind of cleared a lot of things up. Cleaning, again, very, very easy, as you will notice on them. My power flush, like I said, I'm not going to go into cleaning a lot. It fits right inside. So, you know, I can power flush them. Now, having noticed that little wick, now, I'm not certain, I'm sure this is part of dry burn. I don't know if this is the same wicking material used on E2 cardles or not, but I'll probably not do as hard a dry burn as I do with E2s. Simply seeing how this looks, and I'm assuming it just simply, because there's a little automatic cup in there, I guess it just surrounds the coil. So I'll probably just do very light dry burns just to minimize some of the moisture in them. In general, just because, as you can see, it's the mesh itself, the metal mesh. So there's not that much cloth wick to deal with. So until then, any questions? Holler. This is Shadow from the Volcano Forums. Vape safe.